What's up, Spartan fans? Steve Leslie, YSNLive.com with a special one. Lunchtime Coach's Corner, sponsored by Coca's Pizza, the proud sponsor of Boardman football all season long. Head to Coca's Friday night. You could check out the Spartans as they head to Painsville Riverside. Have a great dinner at Coca's and watch the Spartans. You can't beat it. But glad to be joined by Coach Ignazio. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
Before we get into some football, I just want to say a couple things. As a coach and as a part of YSN, we're awful proud of the relationships we build with coaches like you, the student athlete. I go to Terrence Thomas, Coach, one of those guys I talked with last night. What an outstanding young man, absolutely great football player. But the way he handled himself in that interview, the way he represents Boardman football, Boardman community, and the high school has to be huge for you, your staff. I know you push that. I know you demand that of your kids. How special is that when you're going to be able to see how he represents Spartan football off the field?
Yeah, it means a lot from all of our guys, just because, you know, character development is a big part of what we do, especially in our off season and throughout each week. We've got different speakers that come in and give a word of the week or things that we can concentrate on and getting better in life. And you know, we talk often about life after football for the next 40 or 50 years. And, you know, the saying goes, don't ask me how a football program is by wins and losses. Ask me 40 years from now when they see where our young men are at. And that's exactly what kind of program I want to lead.
Well, again, I'm going to salute you. I've known you a long time. One of the standout players to play at Boardman High School. I know how important it is for you to be the head coach there. Coach, it's not wins and losses. So salute to you, your staff, and the way you handle these kids. Hats off as we move forward on this.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to have, you know, a bunch of great coaches in my life and teachers that made an influence on me. I'm fortunate enough to teach alongside of guys on my staff that are teachers, but more importantly, fathers and husbands. So, you know, that's what we pride ourselves on. And Terrence represents it the right way. He was a kid that didn't start off at Boardman and moved in his freshman year. But, you know, after I talked a couple weeks ago after our Mooney win, he came into the office with a tear in his eye, and he had just got off the phone with Coach Morrow at Kentucky and gave me a big hug and said, Coach, Boardman's home. And he goes, I appreciate everything. And he went around to every single coach and gave him a hug the same way he did me, which shows, you know, kind of the relationship we have with our players.
Well, that's awesome to hear. That's why I love what I do for YSN. I know DJ does, Brian Scott, the owners, to represent community, schools like yourself. Salute to that. Let's go into some football. Cuyahoga Falls, you played them last Friday night. No doubt you were the better football team. You went into that game fast start. I thought it was one of your best performances of the year. First win at Spartan Stadium in the new playoff system. Talk about that night, some of the things you were pleased with in that game, and obviously how important that W for the home field and for these kids that have never been a part of that.
Yeah, it's something we pride ourselves on, and we always talk about control the controllables, and everyone wants to knock it for the year that 2020 is. It just, you know, it happened to be a home playoff game for us. So we pride ourselves on our yearly goals, which are win at home, which we had the opportunity to do, but win playoff games also, and we were able to do that. Regardless of the opponent they put in front of you, you know, that was our opponent for the week, and our kids got the job done. You know, most people don't realize that teams didn't host home playoff games until the year 2000. So it is what it is. I mean, everyone knows that 2020 has been a crazy year, and I'm proud of our kids for stepping up and playing a great football game.
Well, congrats on that win for sure. We're with Joe Ignazio, the head ball coach of the Boardman Spartans. Coach's Corner playoff style, lunchtime playoff style, sponsored by Coca's Pizza, the home of Spartan football in Boardman. Cokes will have it on Friday night. Spartan fans, head on over, get yourself a nice little dinner and watch the Spartans as they invade Painsville Riverside. Coach, we go into the Painsville Riverside. I said I've watched this team play. I look at your schedule, the people you have played. That has to give this team confidence with your schedule playing this type of team. How important is the schedule now as you get into this tough opponent on the road?
Yeah, I mean, we look at really 3 games going into this week. We look at Fitch, Ursuline, and Canfield and things that we couldn't get done. But Not that they're that caliber of football team, but they're a good football team. They're better than some of the teams we've beat. So obviously you keep that in the back of your mind. But for the last couple of weeks, it's been we want to control and get better at what we're doing first and foremost. But they're going to be a great opponent. They're big up front. They're physical. They make very few mistakes in any of the phase of the game. So they've got a quarterback that controls the offense well. They've got some playmakers. I don't know that they have all that explosive speed that we've seen with Fitch and an Ursuline, the type of athletes we see there, but they're more like Canfield in that way, where they run downhill, they run hard. They run a 3-3 stack, so they don't want to break the stack defensively. They want to keep things, force you to get the ball to the perimeter, and their assignment sound. They've got their gaps filled on defense. So we're going to have our hands full and need to play a great football game.
With Coach Ignazio, Coach's Corner, sponsored by Coca's Pizza. Coach, my question, I guess, you're going to go on the road, a little further road trip for this football team. Anything that's going to be any different other than time-wise for this football team as you head down to Painsville Friday night?
The schedule, is a little bit different. We talk to our kids about dealing with the adversity of being on the road always. When you take an hour and 45-minute road trip on a bus, it's going to be a little bit different in how to mentally prepare and things they should be doing on the bus. We encourage them to listen to their music, but, have your scouting report, know your opponent, things like that. You've got time to catch up, maybe catch a quick nap and things like that. But, we'll wake them up early enough that we have everybody ready to go. So,
well, I know you'll get them wake. You will wake them up for sure. I'm not worried about that at all. I've been around Coach Ignazio. You will have that team ready to play. Well, one of the questions, Coach, I have for you, and we noticed this in the Audible show Friday night, officiating crews. They're not normal crews that stay together. They're going to be guys from different areas. Did you notice any difference in that game Friday night with the officiating? We noticed maybe our opinion, a few more penalties were called this past weekend than we had seen during the regular season. What are your thoughts on officials and being from different crews?
When they're a little less familiar with you, it seems like they want to hammer home certain things like on the sideline and stuff like that. But it is the nature of the game where we're at. I know that we've thrown the COVID mix in there where we've had like 3 or 4 games where our administration's being observed and things like that from someone from the state. But there's also officials that get observed. So at times they seem like to crack down on things like that, but it is what it is. I tell our kids that play within the rules of the game and, don't put it in the hands of the official, and it should never be an issue.
That's a great answer. With Coach Ignazio, Coach's Corner, sponsored by Coca's Pizza. Spartans will invade Painsville Riverside Friday night at 7. You can go on ysnlive.com/Boardman for all the action and head on over to Coca's to watch that ball game. Coach, are you pleased with where this team's progressing at? The last 2 or 3 weeks seems like you're getting some of those guys back into the positions that they should have been earlier. The defense, I think, is improving. What is one of the areas you want to see this team improve the most on heading into this Painsville game?
Really, there's 2. The last couple of weeks, Jason Treveri's back and had to get some rust off. So the way he's going to lead our football team in a big playoff game. But I've challenged the last couple of games our offense and defensive front, our hogs, which we take a lot of great pride in. Challenging them to lead this football team. They protect in our pass game, but they're also going to be the ones that immediately disrupt defensively and get into the quarterback and what Painsville wants to do. So I put a big challenge on our linemen, and no doubt that they'll step up.
I'm with you. I thought the line, I watched some of that game last week. I thought they were phenomenal. Obviously, the more time they can give Jason to throw the football, the more open. Your receivers have been outstanding all season. So that ground game continues with O'Hora. It's a two-headed monster, and that's one of the reasons why I think this football team has an awesome opportunity to go up to Painsville Riverside, make a statement, obviously, for how we play football in Northeastern Ohio and in Youngstown. I know you're big on that. I know you feed on physicality, and I'm starting to see that Spartan team that Joe Ignazio is looking for. But as we get going here, we do this every time I talk to you. Coach Ignazio's keys to a big victory Friday night against Painsville.
We've got to eliminate the mistakes on both sides of the ball for us, offensively and defensively, but create turnovers defensively also is a big key to what we're going to do. We've been sound pretty much all year in our special teams game. Had a little blunder there against Canfield, but have a young kicker, and he's continuing to grow, so looking for good things from him. But, yeah, the key is always turnovers. The big thing for us is create turnovers and stop teams on third down, especially when you got them medium and long situations.
Well, there you have it, Spartan fans. Coach Ignazio, hold the rock, pound the rock, and get the ball to one of my guys, Terrence Thomas. We know that, Spartan fans. We'll have it for you Friday night, ysnlive.com/Boardman, as if we're going to go beat Painsville Riverside. There's no doubt in my mind. But, Coach, again, thanks for all the time you give us at YSN between these interviews, calling our scoreboard show. We appreciate all your support of YSN. We're proud to be a part of Spartan football. And I look forward, Coach, to that call from you Friday night after you go get that W against Painsville. So best of luck to you, to staff, the kids, and go get a big one and have some fun.
I appreciate it for all you guys do for Valley football and sports across the board. So Spartan Nation's appreciative of it.
All righty, there you have it, Spartan fans. Coach Ignazio, Painsville Riverside. We'll have it Friday night, Coach. Best of luck, and go Spartans.
Thank you, man. Go Spartans.